Hello, and welcome back to our channel Manga Recap. Today, we are going to do a recap of the anime series called Demon Slayer. In the second season's plotline, the core protagonists travel with the senior Demon Slayer to Yoshiwara, Japan's famed red light district, to track down a demon that has been terrorizing the area. But before we begin, beware of spoilers, watch out and take care. And I hope you enjoy the video. Flame Hashira is tasked with finding an elusive demon plaguing a town. Believing the demon is connected to over 40 disappearances on the Mugen train, he sets out to find and kill it. He meets a pair of bento vendors and advises them on the risk of demons before he soon locates the train. After learning it is slated to be put back into service, he encounters the demon responsible for the attacks throughout the area. Despite him for his humanity, the demon decides to hunt down the bento vendors and flees. Kyojuro eventually tracks it down and kills it, saving the vendors. His actions remind the elderly vendor when she herself was saved by the former Flame Hashira many years ago. After realizing the demon is too weak for such numerous victims, Kyojuro boards the Mugen train to begin his investigation. Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke meet Kyojuro on the Mugen train. After an explanation of the situation by the Hashira, they discover two demons hidden on board and witness Kyojuro's impressive abilities firsthand. Whilst the demon slayers are asleep, Enmu instructs four vulnerable passengers to tie their wrists to them, fall asleep, and enter their dreams. Armed with an awl made of his bone, they must search for their spiritual core and destroy it, in order to render them incapacitated. Kyojuro's intruder finds his core, but his intensely strong spirit manages to stop her in the real world. Nezuko, who is unaffected by Enmu's blood demon art, emerges from her box and tries to wake up Tanjiro. Though her attempts to do so fail, she is able to alert him that he is in a dream and trapped. In an ultimate attempt to wake himself up, Tanjiro draws his sword and slashes his own neck in order to regain consciousness. Inosuke and Tanjiro attempt to battle Enmu from inside the train but find their attacks futile with his regeneration. Nezuko joins the fight and is nearly overwhelmed until the arrival of Zenitsu. Kyojuro finally joins the fray and damages Enmu enough to stall his assault. The Hashira explains the plan to Tanjiro. He himself, Zenitsu, and Nezuko will protect the passengers while he and Inosuke will search for Enmu's real neck. They locate it at the train's locomotive, but despite constantly slashing the cabin, Enmu continues to generate flesh as protection. The driver, wanting to protect the demon, stabs Tanjiro in the stomach. However, Tanjiro musters his strength, and, together with Inosuke, manages to expose Enmu's neckbone. He performs his Hinokami Kagura technique and decapitates Enmu with a powerful swing. The entire train derails and crashes into the ground. Akaza meets Mugen, now disguised as a young boy, who reveals his disappointment on Akaza for not being able to kill the other three demon slayers other than Kyojuro. Akaza vows to kill Tanjiro as the latter goes to meet Kyojuro's brother Senjuro and his father. Their father, a former Flame Hashira, but now an alcoholic who detests the demon slayers and sees both of his sons as failures, dismisses Tanjiro violently. However, when he sees Tanjiro's earrings, he explains to him he is a bearer of the first breathing technique, called sun breathing. Tanjiro headbutts him for disrespecting Kyojuro, knocking him out. Later, Senjuro thanks Tanjiro for passing him his brother's messages. 4 months after Kyojuro's death, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke accompany the sound Hashira Tenjin Yuzi to their next mission, infiltrating the famed Yoshiwara red light district, where demons are said to reside. In order to investigate the suspected demonic presence in Yoshiwara, Tenjin had sent his 3 wives to infiltrate the 3 largest Kurtzen houses in the district. However, having stopped receiving messages from them, he has started worrying for their safety. As such, Tenjin disguises Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu as girls and sells them to the 3 separate houses in which his wives were deployed, in order to find clues to their fate and whereabouts. Though with some difficulty, all 3 demon slayers are accepted to work at the houses. As Tenjin surveys the district from the rooftops, it is revealed that Makio, one of Tenjin's wives, is held captive in a secluded room in Inasuke's house, being restrained by numerous obi, and enduring interrogation from a mysterious female voice. Inasuke investigates a room he believes to be Makio's, expecting to face a demon, but finds the room disheveled and empty. However, he quickly senses something moving through the ceiling and walls, and starts a pursuit, though to no avail. Meanwhile, in his own house, Zenitsu defends a girl from being scolded by War Abaheim. The house is beautiful but intimidating wherein Zenitsu recognizes her as a demon but is attacked by her in anger. A few days before the mission, the madam of the house confronts War Abaheim, having figured out her identity, but War Abaheim kills her by dropping her onto the street from a great height. When War Abaheim returns inside, she is greeted by Mugen. Mugen praises the demon, noting her strength and beauty, and addressing her by her demon name Daki, the upper rank 6. Later, Zenitsu wakes up, having been taken care of by the girls he had defended, and they thank him for standing his ground. After they leave, Zenitsu is stealthily captured by Daki. Tenjin finds Hinetsuru on the outskirts of the district, having poisoned herself to escape but remained unable to contact him. Battling Daki by himself, Tanjiro tries to use his Hinokami Kagura but realizes the fatigue on his body is preventing him from fighting effectively. Elsewhere, Inasuke discovers an incredibly narrow passageway under his house, leading to a cavern which appears to serve as a holding cell, full of obi that Daki has used to absorb her victims. This obi turns out to be an entity that can function independently from Daki's body. Inasuke first attempts to slay it but decides to prioritize freeing the people trapped inside. Overwhelmed, he nevertheless manages to free Suma and Makio, 2 of Tenjin's wives, as well as Zenitsu, all of whom assist him in his fight, before being joined by Tenjin himself. As Tanjiro and Daki battle, Daki causes immense destruction to the district, taking the lives of numerous innocents. The enraged Tanjiro retaliates with the incredibly powerful series of Hinokami Kagura attacks, nearly slashing her neck, though Daki saves herself by transforming her neck into an obi, making it difficult to cut. The two continue fighting, and Daki starts to see distant memories of a similar figure to Tanjiro, memories which she surmises must belong to Mugen's cells in her body. Nezuko finally appears and destroys her head with a kick. Daki remembers Mugen talking about Nezuko as a rogue demon who must be exterminated, and begins fighting her. Daki seemingly bisects Nezuko with ease, but is stunned to see her incredible regenerative power. Biting through her bamboo muzzle, Nezuko matures in appearance and faces Daki. Nezuko fights Daki, and despite taking major injuries, she regenerates them almost instantly, causing the shocked Daki to proclaim that Nezuko's regenerative ability is stronger than her own. Nezuko brutally attacks Daki, completely overwhelming her, and throws her into an inhabited building. While Daki heals, Nezuko notices that one of the civilians is bleeding. Blinded by her rage, her demonic bloodlust kicks in and she goes to attack the civilian, before Tanjiro intervenes, restraining her. Tenjin soon arrives and beheads Daki with ease, doubting she is as powerful as she claims. However, Daki does not die. Instead, she wails and cries, causing her brother Jutaro to emerge from within her. Jutaro, who is also the upper 6 alongside Daki, retakes Daki's head, and, full of jealousy at Tenjin's good looks, begins to fight him using his sickles and blood demon art. Overwhelmed, Tenjin struggles to stand his ground while protecting the civilians, as Daki and Jutaro fight as one. Tanjiro manages to calm Nezuko down, just as Zenitsu and Inasuke arrive to help. Taking Nezuko to safety, Tanjiro focuses on the coming battle despite his injuries. Tenjin trades barbs with Jotaro and Daki over their clashing beliefs. As a young man, Tenjin was brutally trained by his father as a member of the shinobi, and wanting to avoid the path taken by his surviving brother, he approached Kaguya, alongside his wives, who commended him on striving away from his past. As they fight, he separates the siblings but realizes he was poisoned by Jotaro's earlier cut. Tenjin is joined by Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke, praising and acknowledging them. The district is evacuated by Suma and Makio, while Hinatsu recovers and approaches the battle, planning to behead them simultaneously. The clash is split as Daki engages Zenitsu and Inosuke, while Jotaro clashes with Tenjin and Tanjiro. Syncing their powers and fighting as one, the upper-rank siblings overwhelm the demon slayers. However, Tanjiro, realizing his water breathing is more useful defensively, is able to fend off Jotaro's attacks. Hinatsu enters the fight and fires wisteria-laced kunais at Jotaro, allowing Tenjin and Tanjiro to move in and reach his neck. Surviving his fall, Tanjiro finds Nezuko's box, relieved she is safe. Nezuko burns the blood blades with her blood demon art. Waking up, Tanjiro realizes he is no longer poisoned, reuniting with Nezuko. He soon finds Zenitsu, who guides him to a dying Inosuke. Nezuko burns away Jotaro's poison, saving him. They find Tenjin surrounded by his wives and she saves him as well. Setting out to finish the demons, they find a pool of blood, where Tanjiro takes a sample for Tameo. Finding them arguing over whose fault their defeat is and insulting their relationship, Tanjiro intervenes but Daki dies first. Seeing this, Jotaro remembers his past life. Born in the poorest caste of the entertainment district, his ugliness meant he was treated as a monster by all. Living in poverty, things change when his sister, Yume, was born. With her beauty, the siblings began living better. However, upon turning 13, Yume blinded a samurai and was burned in retaliation. Finding her body, Jotaro is slashed by the samurai, asked by Yume's madam. However, he survives and kills them both. Without help, they are found by Upper Six of Then, who offers to turn them into demons. Jotaro meets with Yume in the afterlife, where they reconcile and promise to never be apart again. Walking to hell together, Jotaro finally disintegrates. The serpent Hashira, Obaniyaguro, arrives, sarcastically praising Tenjin for killing an upper rank. However, Tenjin intends to retire and informs him of Tanjiro's incredible potential. Elsewhere, an increasingly ill Kaguya is overjoyed at the news and expresses his proudness in the three young demon slayers, noting Mugen's defeat is near. Simultaneously, Akaza is summoned to the Infinity Castle, realizing an upper rank was killed. Tanjiro emotionally embraces Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Nezuko, happy they have all survived the battle. And that's all for today, guys. If you liked the recap and want more recaps like this, consider subscribing to our channel.